ultimate from Yuumi. Getting backline access might be a bit of a struggle if you don't see, you know, some kind of wild flanks come in. But we'll see how Jaxplank handles it in the later stages of the game as we get into this one, Will.
Yeah, assuming that we do get into the late stages, we found our way onto Summoner's Rift for the first game of the evening. 5 games today, of course, to make sure to stick around for all of the action. We've got Vanir, we've got Riddle, we've got a very, very important matchup because both of these teams, with a couple of our giants faltering a little bit in the earliest stages, there's definitely an opening for a team like Riddle, like Vanir, to stake a claim, not even just for playoffs, but maybe one of those top 4 spots.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely very viable, right? Everybody had those expected top 4 teams coming into the reg split. X7 being one of those teams right now, struggling in the middle of the pack. Of course, still plenty of time to readjust their position in the table, but the point still stands. If you can get an early lead on them right now, and I mean, Riddle, definitely prime candidates, especially having just taken them down. That is very crucial if they can pick up a win here today to continue what looks like a very confident-looking side.
You talk about Riddle, their performance up against X7 on Monday might have been the strongest performance we've seen a team have just end of. I mean, you can talk about some of the other games, obviously the Bifrost Singularity game, you could talk about how well Bifrost played in that one, but when you're up against the team, it was just such an impressive performance from Riddle coming through and just start to finish absolutely dominating. But we've got Vanir on their radar now, lost of course to Dusty on Monday through that split push. And I mean, if you're seeing Jaxplank lock into Darius at the end there, if you're
wondering if you're scrimming
like,
against Dusty all of a sudden again.
Where's Curb? Can we make sure that they're not account sharing? Off on the top side?
Of course, Legacy pick. Still excited to see Curb pull out the Darius.
I want to see Curb's Kale.
I do want to see Curve's Kale. I think it's going to continue to be banned away, though. Of course, Monday we saw a lot of Kale blue side bans. Today, a little less of that in the opening stages. But speaking of the opening stages, both junglers starting up on the top side. They are both pathing towards the bottom side of the map. They want to ensure that both of their bottom laners get a pretty solid start here. And I think it just really makes sense. You have Lucian on the bottom side. You always want to try and propel him ahead, try and give him as much of a tangible lead as possible. Right now, I think for Stefan, probably looking to just match, ensure that nothing too crazy goes on the bottom side. But actually, Creox coming off the Wolf Camp, walking towards the mid lane, but Vladdy's holding the bottom side pocket, so it's going to be really difficult to make this gank work, though Vladdy oversteps a little bit.
He's going to try to, though. Vladdy gets the slowdown. It will land onto Viego just on the edge there. Stefan now diving forward, was stealth, but is now revealed as Ericsson is in a very safe position. Creox not in too much danger, and they're just going to be moving back towards the bot side. Could we see a fight over the scuttle, potentially, with Merbs moving up?
Not just yet. Actually, the rotation really smart from the Vanir bottom lane, and that's actually what stops Stefan from stepping forward. Vision in the river to actually catch out that rotation, and it just means that Riddle don't overcommit, because if they do, likelihood of Stefan having to blow flash, maybe even end up dying in that situation, fairly high. So good, a little bit of information gathering from the early stages from Riddle to ensure that they don't overcommit to that play. But again, you can already see, it seems like Lucian and this Yuumi will be having priority for now into Twitch and Nami. Definitely very interesting to see how this Twitch will do inside of lane in terms of keeping up in CS, things of that nature, ensuring that he's not falling too far behind. It feels like anytime we've seen Nami plus Lucian, it's been really over-oppressive, at the very least. Seeing that combination now split up really does make me want to see how this Lucian will actually fare without the Mermaid.
I mean, it's interesting because it's going to give us a little bit of data on which half of this duo is the oppressive one, right? Because we've seen Lucian an awful lot in other lane states, of course. We've seen Lucian in other lanes when it comes to being played here at the NLC, both Division 1 and Division 2. But the Nami is very much, hey, it's with Twitch, or hey, we don't really get to see it that much, but has a lot of tools. And with this Twitch, it's going to be, you've got to imagine much less about going in and doing those aggressive early trades and more about being a little bit more disengaged, a little bit more peely, and making sure that Kevo can get towards those later stages where he can just unload in team fights.
Yeah, no, and I think that's also going to be one of those things to track. I actually can't recall which game it was. It was a Bifrost against... memory is failing on me. I'm getting old, I know. But we saw OD's Twitch just track throughout the entirety of that game. Yes. Opened up once after 40 minutes.
I think it was against Dusty.
I think, yeah, Dusty was on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't want to say it.
Well, I have, so
well, there you go.
Wrong.
If he's wrong, he's wrong. But that's all it takes, especially in games like these, which are a lot more slow-paced now compared to 12-9. We're going to start sounding like a broken record sooner or later. But slow-paced games means we get to these item breakpoints a lot more frequently than we used to before the durability patch came in with some of these more scaling picks. So we'll see if Kevo can make it to that point. It seems like the common trajectory has at the very least been yes.
Yeah, absolutely. The games have, by and large, been pretty long. Just on an average, as we see Ericsson in a little bit of trouble, but able to dance away from that one quite easily. Yeah, games have just been a little bit longer because teams are taking a little bit more time to get to the big ticket moments, right? The flashpoints are still there. You still see fights over stuff like the Rift Herald, but First Dragon especially, and I don't know if I talked about it with you or with Trouble.
Would have been Trouble.
Monday. No, because it might have been in Division 2 last week.
Ah.
Talking about how teams just don't really seem to want to fight over the early dragons.
Oh yeah, no, that was me, yeah, on Division 2, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it feels like teams... Yeah, the first Dragon takes have definitely been getting a little bit later, as actually in the mid lane there was an attempt on Ericsson's life. He did hold into his flash, but Vladdy did expend his ultimate, maybe looking for a favorable back in the next couple of waves. But yeah, teams, they're not really forcing the issue too much unless they have like hard priority on the bottom side of the map in the mid lane. You know, like your Nami Lucian, for example. Typically that just means your jungler will be towards the bottom side of the map anyway. Might as well take the objective. See if or not we get something similar with this Lucian still there. Shockwave.
Always got to land a grip. It's going to be able to get the stun, but needs to be careful. Stun, but not under tower, as Ericsson puts a tiny bit more damage down, but isn't going to be able to secure the kill.
Yeah, and I mean, Vladdy getting quite heavily pressured here, but honestly handled both these ganks so far super well in the mid lane. First one, sidestep the Spectral more. Stefan just ensuring that Vladdy doesn't get forced off the wave, maybe. Also, actually, Jaxplank's even roaming down from the top side very briefly just to push Vanir off of this mid lane shove. Great stuff across the board there. Ericsson will be forced to back away. I believe the wave did crash though. Didn't manage to hold that into a freeze, Vladdy. So will just take a slightly later back of his own. Kevo could be in trouble.
Yeah, no mana gets forced through. A lot of damage is coming down onto the Twitch. He's burning as well. Will be able to step away. Will be able to survive. Yes, he will with the heal. But that was very, very close to the first blood.
Yeah, it was indeed. And you know, I wanted to actually talk about this matchup because we hovered over it for a brief second. But Jaxplank, not as much dominance. I feel like whenever we see Darius, top laners just kind of forget that he's Darius because you don't get to play against him frequently, and a solo kill just randomly happens up in the top side. But what I do like to see is Stefan using the priority, this slow pushing wave here of Jaxplank. And oh, I think they're trying to sync up a dive. Jaxplank will crash this one in. Stefan's still on the Gromp. Does have Smite to take it up, and I think they're going to try and make this dive work. But it's a little bit off time. Jaxplank taking a lot of damage already.
Yeah, but he wasn't taking any tower aggro. They're going to be able to get the Dragon. I think Hazira is dead. The dunk down will come through, and Stefan survives as well.
Yeah, great stuff from the top jungle duo. And on the bottom side, Kriox immediately responds with that Cloud Dragon. So potentially anticipating that dive as the slow stack came in. Jaxplank will take away at least one plate, as he knows he has the time to do so. There's a lot of gold going into the back pocket of the Darius, and even Stefan getting involved in the action as well is going to propel him towards his first IM even sooner. Good play from Riddle. Very nice stuff from Vanir to, at the very least, respond immediately with that Dragon.
It's, again, we talk about it so frequently, the idea of when you see a big play happening in the earliest stages, you've got to check your eyes quickly at the minimap and see what's the other team going to do to respond to this, because First Blood is a decent amount of gold, but getting that first Dragon is also going to be very nice. Yeah,
and the thing is, obviously, we had the concerns about Darius in the later stages getting backline access. If he's super accelerated, he can burst through somebody quickly. All of a sudden, he becomes a much bigger threat than he would have been previously if he doesn't get a bit of a lead in the early stages. So Riddle definitely playing into that avenue. And for now, Merbs and Zaremba haven't necessarily been, you know, punishing to the point of kills in the 2v2. But man, Kevo is falling behind in the CS department. Already 20 down. We'll see whether or not Merbs can continue to grow that CS lead and then maybe leverage that lead either inside of his lane or elsewhere. But for now, off the back of that top side dive, Vanir will use the priority off the back of it to attain the Rift Herald.
And he's coming around again. Just a little bit of a play coming down. Zerema needs to be somewhat careful, but rooting up Kevo, who's trying to get some damage down, opened up, but wasn't able to secure a kill.
You know, I've noticed a lot of straight line ultimates in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Culling, last chapter, Twitch ultimate, kind of just all...
Circular ultimates in the mid lane.
Yeah. Even
and in the jungle.
In the jungle, yeah, as well.
Probably ruined it a little bit. Haziro is going to pay for that as well.
Yeah. Haziro dies for not having a single target ultimate, like Darius does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But great stuff.
I mean, it can be a single target ultimate if you throw it really badly.
True, but that's a big deal, honestly, now. Jaxplank should be able to just absolutely manhandle this lane by himself. I expect, though, we'll probably see more visits. It seems like, at the moment, Riddle don't really have a real avenue into the bottom lane. Merbs doesn't have Flash for now, so maybe if Stefan bases and picks up the Divine Sunderer, which I think he's still going to be a little bit short for, but could be fairly close, yeah, looking at a couple hundred more gold. It seems like could maybe look to try and punish it, but I feel like leave that lane alone. Kevo is still going to scale eventually, even if this Lucian is starting to build up a CS lead. Leave it be, as long as you don't let them get dove, miss big waves like this. That's all you really need to do as Stefan, and it seems like, at the very least, Hasmemo is going to try and cover this dive. Orianna Eriksson has first move from the mid lane, but there is a wave there. Vladdy's already teleporting back, and it seems like there won't actually be a dive on the cards for now from Vanir.
Yeah, Kreox is holding that very, very well. But you mentioned Eriksson there, someone I do want to have a very quick mention of, because we haven't really talked about mid lane because Orianna versus
Victor. It's
you know, it is what it is.
It's Azir Corky level. So
that's it. I won't hear the Azir. I love myself a good Azir lane. But for Eriksson, right? A lot of people, including myself, are questioning this pickup coming into the season.
Myself included.
Because, you know, if you come 9th in Division 2, being signed in Division 1 is a bit of a question mark.
Yes.
However, we've seen this one before. Hezero needs to be quite careful as he's going to flash, but he's not going to be able to knock up. There's the dunk down, and there's the kill. But for Eriksson, he's definitely stepped up in this new Division 1 roster.
Yeah, very surprised. Of course, Eriksson has participated in the NLC before.
Of course.
In Division 1 all the way back. I think it was spring 2021. It could have even been before that. Barrage, of course. Nordavind, I'm pretty sure he was on one of those Nordavind rosters as well. So he's been in Division 1. It was just definitely a bit of a surprise to see him down in Division 2 and then also have his team not so much perform. Definitely one of the more consistent members, but I think returning a little bit more back to the game, this top lane is starting to become a bit of an issue, William.
You were like, oh, I don't know how he's going to get an opening, and then just 3 times he opens up on like a can of beans.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stefan did help with that first dive.
Well, he had the can opener. He was like, here you go.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, cheers. I'll just deal with that.
But this is very quickly, I won't even say slowly, becoming a bit of an issue for Vanir now, because as you can see, Jaxplank has the Stride Breaker, has Merc Tread, he's got tier 2 boots and his Mythic. If he gets on top of Hesero again, he will simply just do what he just did.
I mean, actually, in bot line, we're getting a bit of a fight. Burbs needs to be careful. He's already dead. They're going to be able to catch out the Yuumi as well. Riddle open up and grab themselves 2 with Dragon spawning in 15.
Yeah, I mean, just a great gank timing, I suppose, from Stefan. Maybe was trying to get him Merbs right before his flash came back up. Came back up anyway, still blew the flash, still died. 2 kills go over to the Riddle name, and now they will be able to pick up the Dragon. I suppose if they want to, should have priority on the bottom side. Of course, no bottom laners to match it.
Kreox is hanging around, though.
Kreox is here, and the thing is, you can see Hesero has roamed down from the top side. I think Jaxplank is holding a freeze up there, and that's why he's moved over. So Vanir actually have enough numbers to potentially match this. So Riddle going to respect it for now, but what you can now see is the immediate response in the top side. Jaxplank pushing that lane up there is going to mean Hesero's going to rotate up there as well. Kreox drops the Herald in the mid lane, so you can see it's a bit of a trade of pressure across the map as this Herald will get his charge off, and the plates only go into the Viego's back pocket. Nothing went into the Orianna's.
And I mean, you get those plates, but the plates are... At least one was traded up on the top side by the Darius, and Dragon is still on the table, and Vanir cannot afford to keep their members here for that long. You see Hezero's already moved back up to his lane, but we know that lane is not super pleasant for him at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, Riddle can just give this one up. They don't have to fight it, right? They still are looking for those iron breakpoints on the Twitch, on the Victor. They will be a little whiles away, and if this is an Infernal spawn, it seems like it's an Ocean. It could have been a little bit scary. Ocean on this patch, despite everyone getting a little bit tankier, surprisingly doesn't feel as oppressive as it maybe could have been. So I feel like Riddle are probably all right staring down the barrel of maybe looking to contest that 3rd Dragon Avenue. We'll see whether or not Vanir can try and, again, leverage the strength of Merbs. Already has the Gale Force. It seems like Kevo is actually going to be building in to the Blade of the Ruined Kin, given his itemization. So definitely a bit of a stronger first item spike for Kevo, which could maybe give him and the rest of the Riddle the opportunity to very confidently contest that
in a
Dragon.
lot of trouble. They're going to get caught by the knockup from Stefan, but we'll be able to dance away.
Yeah, and that Flash being down, gonna feel kind of good. That was 2 ultimates for a Flash, and it seems like Riddle want to try and contest this Herald, which will be spawning up shortly. So that is ultimate disadvantage. Economy not in their favor once that will spawn up. We'll see what Vanir can get done with that in mind, especially if they can get Hesira to just teleport up to the top side. Even if he is 2 levels down on the Ornn, all he has to do is press his R key and find the knock-up, so he will find at least some usefulness there. But matching this side lane into the Darius, it's going to be very, very tough for now. But like this from Vanir, matching the Lucian, I beg your pardon, and the Yuumi into Darius for now, just to ensure that Darius cannot be as oppressive. But Riddle, very quick to the draw, will send their bottom lane up to match Vanir's bottom side.
It does give some free time for Hesira on that bot side. Tower, though, and of course, plates have fallen off. Gold looking quite nice at this stage for Riddle, about 3,000 to the good for them, which isn't huge. It's not insurmountable by any means, but it's definitely a nice advantage. If we can have a quick talk and just see where that gold lead is, I think we can probably predict which lanes are going to have it.
I wonder.
Production's like, no.
But they don't even want to show it. They're just like, no, I think Darius is going to have maybe a little bit too much gold. Not just TOS stuff, you know? Maybe not.
I mean, for me, it's a case of, we talked about how Jackplanks is going to get access to the back line. Right now, it's looking like his access will just be killing the front line and then just working his way back.
And I mean, realistically, it can work if, you know, if Kevo just opens up and shreds the front line because it's so far behind. Can work out Merbs, putting a lot of pressure down here with Zaremba.
Well, Crix is down there on the red tower, so.
Yeah, that's what that's for, as Jax Plank is quite literally just taking the tower in front of Hesira's face at this point. Doesn't seem to care too much about his own health bar.
We'll get knocked up, though. Not going to be in any real danger. Can just wander away, but this Rift Shroud is going to be secured by Vanir. I'm looking and there's no sign of any kind of contest for Riddle. And Riddle is now looking towards Hesira. It's Stefan on the back, and this Ornn cannot catch a break this game. Going to be able to flash and dodge away. Will be caught by the second bit of damage, but not going to get the knock-up this time around. Nash is going to be caught on the tower, though, and that's going to be a free kill going over to Vanir. Kriox tanks up a couple of hits as Kevo can't do anything. Ericsson's up here as well, though. Are they going to keep chasing the rat? They may well do. Ultimate comes down. There's the exhaust. There's the flash. The damage goes on to Twitch, and he will fall. Kriox secures the kill, and Vanir make an excellent trade.
Yeah, great cross map. They respond excellently, but I have to question why Kevo and Nash were still hanging around there after seeing their own jungle and top commit so heavily to that bottom side play. They heard the Herald ding as well go off from the takedown. A little bit greedy, but maybe Merbs and Zaremba just about locked them in place long enough to ensure that play could come through. And now Vanir get to take that tower without the Herald. And they will be able to hold on to that potentially towards that third dragon. Maybe drop it towards the mid lane again like they did to try and gain some mid lane priority. And I mean, if they can get a couple of hits in on that tower, I think second Herald is normally about 2.2k damage. So could even take down that mid lane tier 1 with it. We'll see what they can achieve. But Riddle, still, in the grand scheme of things, are ahead 2,000 gold. Probably going to be feeling pretty confident as Jax Plank hits 2 items. And we'll get a replay of what happens here. So Kevo and Nash, it seems like we're starting to try and respect this, but yeah, it's just that Yuumi ultimate, Merbs dashing forward just enables them to lock down the Nami. And Kevo had just used the Q, the ambush, to try and stealth get out of that one. Great flash to get away from the Heartbreaker, but unfortunately, still gets exhausted, still gets slowed down, and still gets locked down by the Shockwave.
And I'm definitely wanting to see Kriox try and get that Rift Herald down mid lane as you suggested. He's actually going to do it right in front of our eyes. Good stuff, Kriox. Glad you're paying attention, buddy, because when you've got the likes of a Victor in the mid lane, taking down this tower and taking away his safety is so important.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time, all of those wave clear mages, right? Your Aziz, your Victors, Xeraths even, Anivia. Yeah, it is absolutely obnoxious. Wait, did you say Nautilus? Yeah.
I just want to see if you notice. I'm just testing you.
Okay.
Just making sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, really obnoxious to deal with that mid lane tier 1. It becomes a bit of a safe haven, so knocking that down means they can sometimes maybe catch the wave a little bit higher up, rotate into the sides of the map a little bit quicker. Merbs steps a little bit far forward. Of course, had the Yuumi on his back, so feeling confident. Doesn't quite have the 2 items yet, and talking about items very quickly, kind of across the board, mostly parry. It's just the top side of the map where Jax Plank has that dead man's plate. And again, we have to see how easy it is for him to find backline access. That's the crucial thing. Keep an eye on whether or not this Darius goes unchecked in this team fight, whether Kevo can find a good opening. And on the opposite side, Hesira's ultimate, Shockwave, things of those nature, those big team fight ultimates are the key for Vanir, but it seems like they're just going to yield it. They don't even want to risk flipping this. And honestly, I can kind of understand, given how strong that Darius is, and the potential of just, you know, falling a little bit too far behind right now. Yeah,
giving up that opportunity. You can see Ericsson moving towards the top line. Merbs, they might have overstayed his welcome. Going to be caught by the knockup. Going to get the Yuumi ultimate, the last chapter coming through, but Kriox is now in the firing line as Kevo chasing forward, looking for the damage. There's the teleport coming through. This is the bot side. Hesiro will join the fray, but should be stunned up in the middle of it. The bubble's there, but Stefan's gone. And now Vanir chasing forward. Hesiro with the ultimate. Can he catch anyone? Yes, he can. It's Kevo who gets knocked up twice, taken down by Ericsson on the side, though. Jax Lag has found access towards Zaremba, gets the dunk, but doesn't get the kill. And and now he needs to be careful, ghosting away, but will be called out by so much damage. They're running forward. Jacksplank does get a kill onto Yuumi and actually manages to escape. He's a speedy boy, but Vanir take the fight.
Yeah, Vanir do take the fight at the very least. They'll be happy with Oni dropping their top laner for that. Stefan, Kevo both die. 2 for 1 in the end of the exchange, but I mean, it happens after the Dragon's already gone, the Baron's spawning up, but realistically no chance of a takedown. Just a bit of a boxing match after the Dragon fight. Riddle feeling hungry after not actually getting what they were probably betting for at that third Dragon. Engage comes in, disengage nicely, and they were going to chase, but that teleport comes in, and then all of a sudden you can see a bit of too much of a split off, right? Stefan has to retreat down towards the bottom side, towards the mid lane, and yes, he was retreating towards Darius, but isn't able to get away in time. Kevo gets knocked up, very easily bursted down, but Jaxplank on the bottom side apprehends the Yuumi, is able to get all of those stacks in, and that's why he ends up at least trading that kill, able to flash out, and Kraox on the opposite side was also not able to take down Nash and Vladdy. Decent team fight for Vanir. Things can get better. We've spoken about these teamfight elements and how much value they can have. It's about finding that value, though.
And for those of you who might be a little bit confused about how the Yuumi went down there while attached, the ticking damage from the hemorrhage can still apply even if you jump on. And unfortunately, the healer had already been used.
Untargetable, not invincible, is the key difference there.
Poor Zarimba.
Poor Zarimba.
But that being said, Yuumi player, so...
Who cares?
Unlucky. Yeah. There's like a tier list of like how much I'm sad when I see a champion die. Yeah. It goes from like, oh, I'm actually quite devastated. You know, like the Tristana Dragon Slayer skin, like Nunu, obviously.
Nunu is the saddest champion in the game to see die.
No. It is the Tristana. It's the Tristana with the skin, because she dies and then the dragon like goes up to her and like nudges her and then like lies down next to her.
Nunu kind of does the same for me.
Yeah, Nunu, like, yeah, that's also sad. And then it goes down a little bit, and then at the bottom are like assassin players. And like, that is the lowest tier, is assassins, and then Yuumi is just above that. Because there's nothing funnier than like a Zed diving into a team fight and getting 2-shot.
I will raise you.
Okay.
Lulu.
What's funniest or saddest?
Funniest, I just don't like that.
It's like, there's nothing about it, it's just funny, innit? Like, I don't know. I'm a tank. I don't tend to die in team. Well, I do tend to die in team fights, but I'm bad. Yeah. But you know, it's you get a lot out of what people play. You know, you can
do as
a lot of players. But it looks like Jaxplank gonna get rooted up. But he has support in the wings. That's a really nice tidal wave onto 3 members. Bubs needs to be careful as he takes the tower shot. Stefan trying to get something going. The teleport coming in behind Vanir. They're gonna get a bit of assistance. But Zaremba dies once again. But this time it's the tick from Victor. That secures the kill. Murbs needs to be careful. Will be able to dive away. And Ericsson trying to keep this fight going positively for Vanir. But it looks like it might just be a disengage. But Jaxplank is very, very quick to flash. And the speed up will get the rest of Vanir out. But they do lose their cat.
Yeah, they do lose their cat. If Jaxplank had Ghost Man, he is sending it. I know that for a fact. But Zaremba again gets caught out unattached during the Lost Trap turn. We'll get the replay in. Just looking at the cross map, potentially expecting that Riddle won't be down here to match that. Jaxplank will be down here by himself, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Zaremba gets caught out by the wave, the tidal wave initially, and then from that point on, very easy to pick him up. Ericsson tries to find a little bit of damage onto Vladdy, and like we said, getting sped up by the Nami. If he had Ghost, I think he would have just full sent it, tried to go for the resets entirely, but unfortunately was not able to find his mark on this instance. And Riddle went out on the play just by reading the map.
And that's something that Riddle have been doing pretty well this entire game and the whole season, in fact, up to this point. Yeah. Something that has impressed me about Riddle a lot is their ability to understand how this game is played on this patch. And we talked about Nuriki being the Kings of the Patch, X7 being Kings of the Patch. Both of them lost yesterday, Riddle didn't. So having that extra week to get the scrim time in and just spend some time with their coaching staff definitely paid off.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've been saying, right, on the analyst desk in particular, it's going to take time for teams to adjust to the patch. We'll see, again, which teams are the best at adapting to it, as Riddle will yet again have first move into the Dragon area and towards this river. Vanir gonna have to face check into this slowly but surely. Again, they have some of these elements to poke and prod and try and find some Mumbo combos. But it's about finding them. Riddle haven't really given them the opportunity, and it seems like for the second Dragon in a row, they will yield pressure towards it. They'll take mid lane priority. Actually pings towards trying to take that tier 2. Jaxplank is here. I don't think he can hold it 1v5, but again, the rest of Riddle are now going to rotate back over. Will we see an opening yet again? There's a tidal wave.
Wave onto his Zero, but he's the only one called out. But Kevin's on the side, unloading damage. Crooks needs to be a little bit careful. The knockup will land, but his Zero
Jaxplank, he's got stacks.
He's got the reset. going towards Ericsson, dancing away from the slowdown, but won't be able to catch him as Vanir do manage to huddle under their tower. They do lose their top laner, though.
Oh, Jaxplank had like 3 seconds left on his flash. If he had that, he is going, and I promise you, he would have found so much more. So many flashes not available, but now looking for a pincer movement.
There's Stefan coming in. He gets the upper hand onto the Yubi, who's once again the victim. Vladdy gets the kill. Stefan goes low. Kriox still alive, looking for the resets. Will be able to find it, looking towards Jaxplank, but can't get the damage down. And Kriox is just going to return to his handsome Viego self. But that's a dive that went okay for Riddle.
I mean, I think the objective of the dive was complete, though. They took the tier 1 tower in the mid lane, so realistically, probably all right with that. Stefan didn't have a big shutdown or anything to hand over. Could have been a little bit cleaner, maybe, but I think did what they came to do. Pick up the second dragon. Now, actually,
Kriox is hunting.
Yeah, he's hunting, but the thing is, Merbs is resetting, so this is a bit of a duo mission against 3. That red buff's going to reset. Never mind. Vladdy wants it more than Kevo.
I was like, oh no, they're going to steal it.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like when you're a jungler, you smite blue buff. Oh, the jungler was right there, I promise. But Tidal Wave, again, hits onto the front line. And you can see the response from there to shut down Kevo's open up. Really great. But the issue is, in doing that, they left Hesira out to dry, to be honest with you. Not really their fault. Hesira was very far in, a little bit slow to retreat, unfortunately. Left to the Noxian Guillotine. And then this dive towards the mid lane. Great stuff. Almost finds a double apprehend. Jaxplank, it would have been more kills. Maybe a cleaner dive in all. But the flash was very, very quick from Merbs, and Kriox able to, at the very least, respond. But still, that tower does go down, and that means Riddle will find their third of the game. All of those hours now for Vanir are down. Riddle looking for an assassination onto Merbs. No flash, but double dash and Gale Force.
Yeah, simple as that to get away. And of course, keep your eyes under the scoreboard for the momentum meter, just to show what our stunning analysts think about this game so far and all the games that we've got this evening. We've got Riddle being quite heavily favored. You in agreement, or are they not paying attention?
No. You're asking me to flame Core Morgan Trouble?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm asking if I'm giving you the opportunity to if you want to.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, I think this is about right. I mean, realistically, Riddle, they can't really push the issue that much, right? Their options in terms of hard engage are very, very limited.
Yes.
It mostly comes about from, you know, the likes of a tidal wave over the wall into Twitch opening up. But the issue is Vanir have all of the agency options, right? The Ornorm in particular, and the follow-up that can come from that. And also the ability to respond very well, in particular, to Kevo opening up, right? Lost Chapter, very easy to lock him down. Shockwave can always just be used on Twitch to stop him from getting his ultimate out, and that's always a trade you're happy to take, to be honest with you. So it's going to be difficult for Riddle to consistently find fights, most likely, assuming Vanir don't face check or do anything of the likes as they're trying to stick.
Because Stefan, he's going to be able to get a double knockout, but he hasn't got any assistance in the immediate vicinity except Vladdy. And Vanir are happy to just walk away from that one. It looked much scarier than it was, but remember, the Yubi was on top of Viego, and I don't think they lose that 2v1.
No, likely not. Yumi, very strong, also has the Oblivion Orb on top of that Moonstone. So we'll be cutting down any of the healing that the Monkey can get out of the Divine Sunderer. Oh, definitely would have won that 2v1. If Vladdy showed up, though, to get some of that burst damage down, maybe not a whole bunch of magic resist in Kriox's back pocket. But for now, I expect in between these dragons, it's just going to be slow and steady. I think both these teams really want to hit those iron breakpoints, right? And speaking about irons, I think maybe this is a good timer, about a minute away. But we'll briefly talk about the gold, because it's been flashed up on our screen. As expected, Jaxplank is what?
Wait, if we keep our eyes peeled there for a few more seconds, he may well flame Horizon.
Yeah, but Merbs
might actually be okay, though. A lot of damage coming on down to him. Hezura is there for the support, though. He will dance away and actually survives. Kriox in the middle will be in a lot of trouble, though, as he tries to stumble out. We'll get up a little bit, but he gets dunked down by Jaxplank.
Oh, Jaxplank!
He's so quick, looking for Hezura, but can't even find the slow, let alone the apprehend. But for Riddle, they expended a lot of resources, but this could mean Baron.
Yeah, very well, Baron. I mean, Viego's dead, and there's no big teamfight almost left besides Zaremba's. I think this is going to be Baron for Riddle. Realistically, trying to contest this with Vanir will be very, very dangerous, and they're on the bottom side. They're trying to trade out for the Dragon, maybe, but that spawns in 15 seconds. This Baron's going to be dead by then, and whether or not they can burst it before some of the other members from Riddle come back towards the bottom side to respond, we'll have to see. Riddle trying to kind of dip their hands into both pots here. Stefan Kevo taking the Baron makes it a little bit slower, but bringing Vladdy, bringing Jaxplank down with Nash just kind of ensures that, yeah, I mean, Vanir just can't even step foot in the river entirely, and now they should be able to get both objectives, potentially, if they want to dip into it. They read what Vanir want to do. It seems like Vanir, again, just willing to yield this Ocean Dragon. This is what I was talking about when we saw the Ocean flash up, right? It seems to me that it might be even weaker than Cloud, to be frank with you.
It's not that
on
deep,
this patch.
basically.
Yeah, unlike an Ocean, which typically is very deep.
Depends which part of the ocean.
Depends, yeah, I guess.
It's like a rock pool.
It's like a rock pool.
Like, you don't just step on the beach and fall like into the Mariana Trench, do you?
No.
Unless it's a very bad beach.
Are there any beaches like that?
I mean, there are beaches where you can, like, go in quite deep initially, I'm sure. Let us know in chat your favorite beach. Tweet at us at hashtag, if you're at a beach right now, hashtag
if for whatever reason
NLC at home. Or hashtag NLC at the beach.
NLC at home into a picture of a beach.
Yeah. Like, if you're at the beach.
Right.
Don't lie to us. We'll know.
Yes, I'm sure we will. I've missed you, Will.
It's just, you know, at the beach, isn't it? It's a good time.
All right.
The beach not that long ago. It was very cold. As we're going to see it. Engage coming on for Stefan.
Oh, they found Kevo!
They found Kevo, and he's dead. And it looks like Vanir can move forward. Stefan trying to get away, needs to be careful. But notably, Jaxplank hasn't been involved yet. He's looking for the flank on the side, maybe looking towards Kriox, but he's going to dive forward towards Vladi. He's got the spawn of the Yumi, but the rest of his team is a little bit far away as Jaxplank is playing Bouncer exceptionally well, trying to find his hero. We'll get the damage down. Vladi actually gets the kill onto Kriox, and now Zaremba is going to be in trouble as he gets taken down for the double. It looked so good, but Vanir, they got backline access, but then the backline murdered them.
Yeah, I just feel like Kriox as well dives a little bit too far ahead of the rest of his team, not able to really help him with that dive, unfortunately. And this is the thing, Ericsson also not in a position where the shockwave could be of use, doesn't even end up using it. And Riddle able to burst down the Viego as he just overcommits, tries to get the resets going, but unfortunately the response as well, Jaxplank comes up from the bottom side of the map, and at that point, even though you find yourself Kevo, which credits for doing that somehow as a...
Vladi's been found as well, and he's very dead.
You know, I don't know how much you talk with Arsharam.
Not as much as I'd like.
So, I'm not sure if you heard of the curse of the place, Los Platos.
I have heard of Los Platos.
Yes, now, I don't exactly know. What's the color for blue in Spanish? Do you know?
No.
Or the name?
I speak zero Spanish.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm sure someone will ask.
If you speak Spanish, let's...
We're asking a lot of Twitch chat here. But let's get the replay of this, because honestly, that Orn armor was massive. It found Stefan, who went in stealth, but crucially, it found Kevo. And Kriox was able to follow up on it. As you can see, Kriox just goes a little bit too far forward, looking for Vladi. He has no flash, and that's probably the reason the overcommit comes in. But you can see, Riddle from the bottom side, just splits the fight apart. And everybody from Vanir just has to go in different directions. Zaremba left to the, well, the wolf that is Vladi. After his backpack buddy is absolutely decimated by the Victor. And again, Vanir, they have to kind of stick together. Even like they have to play, I feel like, to be honest with you, front-to-back team fights. That's the only thing they can really do. The moment that they get split apart by the disruption of the Wukong, the Darius, things are just going to get so difficult. It's going to allow, you know, the Riddle side to even find, you know, Jaxplank resets with the Darius. Level 16 as well, so don't forget, kills reset the Noxian Guillotine regardless, I believe. That's how the ultimate interaction works at level 16.
Yes, full reset.
Just a full reset, regardless of whether or not he finds the execute. So,
well, it's also that it doesn't go cooldown. It's not that it has the time limit.
Yeah, exactly. So, has to be careful of that one. Riddle for now, just trying to find this last inner tower, and they're going to get it. Vanir not really in much of a position to respond appropriately, though they are looking for a teleport behind them, and
I'm not sure if this is necessarily going to work. Zero needs to get a really nice ultimate, capturing a couple of members. He's going to blow the horn and looks for something. Will be able to find two, and I'll dive towards Jaxplank. Jaxplank is in the backline notably, but Stefan goes gold and will survive this time around. And what going Jaxplank is assassinated now. Jaxplank is diving through double, looking for more. The Twitch will find it. Darius is marauding through the match, looking for another. Vladi takes down the cat. Ericsson cut down, and I think that might be it. Don't mess with the Dunk Master, because he's out to get ya.
Oh, it felt like an inevitability that we were going to get a team fight like that. And Jaxplank almost finds himself, realistically, a penta, but Riddle find themselves a successful team fight, and they will close this one out. It just felt like Vanir were never able to get the kind of team fight that they were looking for, that team composition, and Riddle will move up in the standings to 4-2 as they take down Vanir in pretty damn convincing style.
I'm going to say, Vanir had some very good moments in that game.
They did.
And